Andy Rooney once said, "One of the most glorious messes in the world is the mess created in the living room on Christmas Day. Don't clean it up too quickly." Today is the first day of Christmas. It is the first day of Kwanzaa. Some people are confused by that of Christmas thing. As I explained in the last video, Christmas Day is December 25th, and then the first day of Christmas is December 26th. Second day of Christmas, December 27th, all the way to January 6th, the 12th day of Christmas, or for us theater folks, 12th night, or what you will. So today, December 26th, is the first day of Christmas, and it's also the first day of Kwanzaa, when we celebrate the principle of umoja, unity, which is such a beautiful thought and something so worth celebrating right now for all of us. December 21st, we recently passed earlier this week the solstice, and this particular solstice, which many people do celebrate, this particular one was the Great Conjunction, which is Jupiter and Saturn, two of the biggest planets and the brightest planets. Coming together very, very closely in conjunction to one another. And this particular, two planets meeting is not called a conjunction, but is the only one called the Great Conjunction, because it is the rarest meeting between any of the five bright planets that we can see from Earth. And it happens only once every 2 decades, so it's only once every 20 years. But this particular Great Conjunction of Jupiter Saturn is the first one since 1623 during Galileo's times that it has been this close. And it's even believed that the brightness of the Great Conjunction could be what the three wise folks saw um, uh, during the gift of the Magi coming from the east during the birth of Christ. That the Christmas star was actually the Great Conjunction. Uh, Also, astrologically, that's believed to have numerous earthly effects, including one that presidents are supposed to suffer risks if they're in office when these planets meet. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that astrologically is what can happen right now. So I'm just saying, keeping my place on the naughty list for so many years. My partner has one of these that says nice, and it's green, and green is his color, and red is my color. So what can we do? We also celebrated Hanukkah last week. Again, if you think of it in terms of all we've been through this year in 2020, I'm thinking especially for those of us who are creative people who work in the theater, in show business, particularly in the Broadway musical theater community. The celebration of Hanukkah goes back to like 160 something BC, when the Jews successfully drove the Syrians out of Jerusalem and cleansed the Second Temple to rebuild its altar and light its menorah. And the gold candelabrum, the seven branches of a menorah, represented knowledge and creation. And during this festival, they were meant to be kept burning every night. Now, just before we even get to the miracle of Hanukkah, just that this candelabrum, this festival of light, is there to celebrate knowledge and creation. For those of us who are creatives, what a wonderful celebration to celebrate knowledge and creation. It's just beautiful. And of course, in that time period in 160 something BC was when the Hanukkah miracle took place amidst all of this, in trying to rebuild the temple or cleanse the temple as they were doing from where the Syrians had the Greek gods put in place. So they were cleansing the temple. And according to the Talmud, this isn't in the Torah because it happened after the Torah was written, but according to the Talmud, there was only enough untainted olive oil to keep the menorah's candles burning for a single day. Now that fascinates me because I'm Italian. I cook with olive oil all the time, and I never think of it for lighting lanterns. I had no idea if you can do that or not. But the flames, even though they had enough untainted oil to only keep the flames burning for one night, the flames kept flickering and burning and stayed alive for 8 nights. And that is this wondrous event that the Jewish sages then proclaimed a yearly 8-day festival to celebrate this. So these wondrous events, knowledge, creation, light, Christmas, kindness, giving. These are just some of the things we're celebrating right now. And I just have to come forward in this group and talk about this because they are such beautiful things to celebrate. And I want you to feel invited to the celebration of those qualities, both within yourself and also in our community and in the world at large. Eid is the Muslim festival that it sometimes coincides with Christmas, but it moves according to the Muslim calendar, and it's currently hovering more in the late springtime around May. In a few more years, I think it'll come back around and coincide more with Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. Diwali is a bit closer right now. We just passed it in November. Diwali, the Indian Festival of Light, one of my favorite holidays in the world. Some years ago, I was in India celebrating Diwali through the generosity of some of my most wonderful friends who took me to India for Diwali. That was like such a lifelong dream of mine to experience, from when an NYU student of mine who was Indian told me he could not make it to class because the following Tuesday was Diwali. And I was like, what's that? Can we celebrate? Can we join you? How do we do it? What do we do? And he described it to me as this festival of light, and it's just magnificent. It's like Christmas on overdrive. It's just so beautiful. And then, of course, as we're counting celebrations, it's worth mentioning that today is also, I'm going to try to move my camera here to see if you can see it. Today is also the, well, actually, technically yesterday, I guess, Christmas Day, is the birthday of Justin Trudeau. So I'm not sure if you can see this here, but I've got my Justin Trudeau ornament on my Christmas tree. And we celebrate his birthday. So, well, one of the birthdays we celebrate. Anyway, so if you're like totally non-religious, non-spiritual, and Christmas just bothers you, you can totally just enjoy that it's the birthday of the gorgeous liberal prime minister we all know and love. So there's that. Today is Boxing Day, December 26th. Honestly, my favorite day of the holiday season. Boxing Day is thought to have gotten its name when I lived in Canada for a number of years. I learned about Boxing Day because it's more of a British tradition than an American one, and it is celebrated in Canada. And it's really the holiday to just rest, detox, take it down a step, because back in the day, as I understand the history of the term Boxing Day, all of the wealthy people in England celebrated their grand Christmas, and all of the servants who did all of the cooking and the serving, etc., they, at the end of Christmas, were given all the fancy boxes and packaging material. And they were given that to take with them, and they got December 26th off. And they could have their Christmas with their families, and they had very, very fancy packaging and ribbons and boxing. So it came to be called Boxing Day. But I always have loved Boxing Day because Christmas is a little hectic and crazy for me. I mean, you see, right? I mean, we do a lot of stuff here and celebrate in every way we possibly can. And it's glorious, and I love it. My partner and I were up last night wrapping packages till about 4 a.m, watching It's a Wonderful Life. It's now at the point with that movie where as soon as Mr. Gower puts the poison in the pills and the kid helps it, I start crying, and I don't stop crying for the whole 2 hours. Most of us probably know the film It's a Wonderful Life. If by chance you're watching this and it's a film you don't know, I urge you, I'm sure it's just online. You can find a free version of it. It's in public domain. So I'm sure you can find a version of it you don't have to pay for. And just please sit down and watch that film for 2 hours and let the brilliance of its message just wash over you, and enjoy and celebrate that. So here in my home, welcome to my home. It is the first day of Christmas, and it is Boxing Day. Yesterday, Christmas Day, is largely about my mom because she's in her 90s, and Christmas is a very big family holiday for me. I was thinking about this, how it's a funny thing with casting directors. You know, Rosalie Joseph started Stockings with Care and many years ago, and it's a beautiful organization that brings presents and Christmas to kids who would not otherwise have that. Andrew Feminella recently started a Toys for Tots drive on his website with his stuff. I'm standing here talking to you, and I thought, what is the thing about casting directors and Christmas? And then I realized, well, we all grew up Italian American, and I think if you're Italian American, Christmas is a big thing. And I think if you're an Italian American casting director, I don't know, maybe it's just about serving the talent and bringing out the talent and helping to connect things and make things work. And this love of Christmas and the kindness and giving and beauty of this holiday. Uh, I don't know, but it's kind of a funny thing, isn't it? So yesterday, we rented the car, we Clorox wiped and Lysoled everything, and went to my mom's and stayed with her and did the Zoom family call, and managed to talk her through that and navigate that because the computers are a little confusing to her still, and it was beautiful. It was just lovely. So today, Boxing Day, is after the last several weeks of giving and family and friends and loved one. This is just for my partner and me. This is this our time together. Oh, and Santa came last night. Oh, look what's under the tree. Oh my goodness, so many presents. Oh my goodness, so exciting. Um, yeah, so I know that seems like probably some sort of excess, but honestly, we just love the whole thing. And if you unwrap a gift and it happens to be a bottle of cleaning detergent for the kitchen, it's as my mother used to say, just let something to open. Everybody ought to have something to open on Christmas. So we both come from those kinds of traditions, and for any kids who are watching, yes, it is okay sometimes for Santa to stop by your house on the way back to the North Pole and bring your presents on the night of the 25th instead of the night of the 24th. It's still the 25th, it's still Christmas Day. And when you wake up on Boxing Day, first day of Christmas morning, maybe if you were a good little boy or girl or person, that something nice happened, maybe? Not me. Not me. Top of the naughty list, decades running. Uh, so, so the Course in Miracles says, never forget you give but to yourself. Who understands what giving means must laugh at the idea of sacrifice. So the thing about giving, and that this celebration, the season of Christmas, the season of kindness and giving, um, what it's about, it really is a way of celebrating your soul and who you are. There are so many ways of giving. One thing that my partner does that I got taken along with over the years and have grown to love so much is what we call the neighborhood gifts, where we put together little packages of something, some little chocolates, some little Christmas nail files, some little, whatever we find that would be a nice little gift. And we put a nice tip in it, like $10 or something, and give it to all the waiters at our favorite coffee shop across the street. We bring it to the people at the laundromat. There's a wonderful Chinese family there we've known for years, since they came into that business and took it over from the last people who owned it about 20 years ago. And we've watched their children grow up, and their mom always says to us how, you always remember my children. They're now in college. And it's just such a beautiful thing. The bank tellers, people, our grocery store manager, who often helps us find something if it's out of stock, he orders it, or the people who are in our lives all the time. What a beautiful thing to use this season of giving and of kindness to acknowledge them, to let them know that we appreciate their work and what they do, especially now that so many of these people have been frontline workers this year. And that's not something that has to be done on Christmas Day. That's something that you can give them anywhere in the Christmas season, just some small acknowledgement, a little thing of chocolates. It's December 26th, which means you can make American commercialism work in your favor, and you can go out and get something like half price now and give them a little something to just say, thank you. I acknowledge you. I appreciate you. Um, what a beautiful thing, and how it feeds our own souls to express that, because I really believe that's so much closer to the truth of who we are, you know? Um, a gift can be a phone call. A gift can be a visit. I talked in the last video about la visita. A visit on Zoom is right now a very, very beautiful thing to do. Reaching out, helping others. I don't know, some of you may have experiences, as I have had, of intermingling with judgmental relatives or family members. Get a real job, I work and I make money and I have a weekly paycheck, which means you don't work as hard as me. Excuse me. We're not judging it that way. We work in an industry where a weekly paycheck is not always the thing. It doesn't mean we don't work hard. And we sometimes engage in that battle, and it makes us feel frustrated about the holidays and like there's nothing wonderful about it. Well, I understand how it can be frustrating, but it doesn't mean there's nothing wonderful about it. The holidays can be full of wonder if we open our eyes and just embrace that. And we don't have to engage with people who are judgmental or people who have, want to belittle us or are jealous of us for pursuing our dreams. We don't have to go there. Um, this year in particular, sorry, we've been through too much. We have sacrificed. I know he who knows what giving means must laugh at the idea of sacrifice, but we have sacrificed what we know and love. Our entire industry has been decimated for this most of this year since March. There has been no work in the Broadway theater, and we are dealing with that. We're contending with that, and then we get on a Christmas Zoom call and we're dealing with people who won't even wear a mask because they've turned it into some political statement. It's not important or something. I of course have a mask on while I'm with my mom navigating the Zoom call because I'm in the proximity of an elderly person and we want to be super careful and respectful. The CDC has warned us of an increase now in the pandemic's numbers over this next few weeks. We currently have almost 80 million cases and 1.7 million deaths worldwide. Over 8,000 people died yesterday, and in the US, it's 18.7 million cases and over 330,000 deaths. And here's the thing, those of us who gave up our industry, those of us who went on this grand pause right now, those of us who let go of all of our expertise and these things we know how to do, frankly, better than anyone, that we studied years for, that we worked years for to develop our expertise and our craft and what it is we are able to do. We have sacrificed what we love to do and how we do it. We have sacrificed this because initial predictions back in March were that 2 million Americans would die over the course of this pandemic this year. Well, we are in the last week of this year now, and 330,000 Americans have died, and that is terrible. But that means our actions, our sacrifice, if you will, has saved 1.7 million of our fellow country persons' lives. That's a great thing, and that's something to be celebrated, and that's something we can feel good about, and we don't need to participate in anyone's judgment or condemnation of who we are and what we do. So just embrace that and feel good about what an incredible thing that is. If anyone brings judgment to you, be they family members, friends, colleagues, just ask them to take it elsewhere. As far as I'm concerned, this is heroic what we did. We gave up so much to help others. And regarding this current Christmas, now in the midst of this 2020, in the midst of this grand pause in our industry, it's a 12-day festival of kindness and giving and love. There are so many ways to love and to give, and whether you're celebrating the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, or whether you're celebrating the festival of light and knowledge and creation of Hanukkah, or the joy of the earth and solstice and protecting the beauty of this earth, or the joy of Christmas, whatever you're celebrating, there are so many ways to give. You can give gifts to your neighborhood friends and storekeepers and folks with whom you interact, your delivery persons. You can reach out with a phone call to someone whom you haven't talked to maybe all year. You can visit someone, set up a Zoom visit or a whatever social media platform that works in for you. You can reach out. Perhaps you have a neighbor who's someone in need. Your voice, your talents, you can find ways to offer it, to give that up for someone else. I have no idea how it works now with elderly homes, but certainly so many actors at this holiday time would go caroling or singing songs in old age homes and in old age residences. And that was such a beautiful thing to see. And I don't know if that can be done in some sort of social media format, but maybe it can. If you sing like me, you don't want to do that. Old people have been through enough. But if you sing like the people who I get to see in auditions and get to cast, who sing so beautifully, maybe there's a way to offer that gift somewhere. And no taking down the tree just yet. 12 days of Christmas. This got to keep going. this festival of light and knowledge and creation and joy and unity and all the things we celebrate. Let's let it happen. Be safe, of course. If the tree gets dry, you got to be careful about the lights and stuff. You got to watch near the lights where, if there's any brown spots starting to form, to make sure you don't have a fire. Absolutely, very important. Safety first, always. But maybe the tree stays up all 12 days of Christmas through January 6th this year, and maybe even through the following weekend. Give thanks. Gratitude is such a part of this. Did you receive gifts this year from anyone? Is there a way to celebrate with gratitude, to thank them, to let them know how much you appreciate what they did? Year-end giving to charities. I don't know if you're like me and getting a zillion emails right now about how end-of-year giving is in full force and please give now. There are sales now for after Christmas giving. You can sneak and get something maybe with a 2-day delivery online. I don't know. Does an organization or a person need your help? Perhaps it's that exasperating family member who just needs kindness, needs someone to reach out. Maybe they're feeling like they're not getting to participate in the love of this holiday, and maybe reaching out with love will transform that, transform them. Do you have a talent that needs to be given away? Perhaps there's a way to do that. This is the season of giving and kindness. Please exercise that. Perhaps John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock could use $5 if you want to donate something to the upcoming Georgia runoff for the Senate. Perhaps someone elderly in your building could use help with a grocery run. It's pretty cold today. Perhaps a parent or child could benefit from hearing from us this Christmas season. Just to say I love you and I appreciate everything you do for me and I love having you in my life. Maybe we can say that to our child or our parent, even if they're no longer with us in the physical form. Maybe we can just put it out there and say that. Just say, I love you. It's a season. You don't have to do it now. You don't have to decide right now to do these things. You can just let it rest on your mind. It's Boxing Day, Servant's Day off. You don't have to do a thing. Just let it rest on your mind. What ways can I love? What ways can I be kind? What ways can I give? We have 12 days. How can we help? What can we give? How can I today activate my powers of blessing? Let's get to it. I just realized I talked all of this on a Facebook Live and forgot to turn on the overhead light. So I'm probably in silhouette, but being in silhouette by a Christmas tree, I can't think of anything more wonderful. And don't forget, don't clean up that mess too quickly. Let the mess stand. The messiness itself is beautiful. This is Arnold Mangioli for Grateful, Ready, Open, Willing, and I'm so happy to spend a little bit of time with you over these holidays. Have a wonderful time. Enjoy it all.